Hello everyone and welcome back to Meeple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I am Jacob.
And today we're doing a before and after, which is
our expectations of the game before we've ever played it, followed by our first impressions right after our initial play.
And today we're taking a look at Arcane Academy.
That is correct.
It's by Eric Lang and Kevin Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I'm going to say about it is that it does not look like an Eric Lang and Kevin Wilson game.
No, it seems pretty small. It's pretty compact. There's no minis.
Right.
Very simplistic play, I would say.
Yeah.
Like you only have two actions. One is to do nothing and kind of refresh your board, and the other is to just take one of the actions on your player board.
Yeah, when I think of Kevin Wilson, I think of like Descent, bigger Amerithrash style Fantasy Flight games.
Yeah.
Eric Lang,
very grandiose.
Yeah, Eric Lang again, like Blood Rage, Chaos in the Old World.
Yeah,
again,
Seven Sins, the others.
Big box games. Yep. So I'm interested to see what a smaller, lighter game from them is going to be like.
Yeah, I have fairly high expectations for this one, actually. The simplicity and the amount of gameplay that's going to come from that with the card interactions and the variability of setting up your board however you want to get these combo chain reactions. I think it's going to be a very fun, puzzly game that provides enough to keep me interested, but it's not going to be like a brain burner or anything like that.
With these style of games, the thing that always worries me the most going into them, when they're simple, is that they might just be too simple, and not strategic,
right?
Because they're simple and strategic, which I like. But if it's simple and it's just the game kind of plays itself, that's the worry that I have,
right?
But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think because of the puzzle of laying out and comboing your actions together, I think that's going to be enough to satisfy.
All right. Well, let's get it to the table, and then we'll come back and see what we think of Arcane Academy.
All right. We'll be back soon.
Welcome back, everyone. We just finished our first game of Arcane Academy.
That's correct.
What'd you think?
It was decent. I actually had quite a good time playing that. It did have that strategic depth that I was looking for, trying to create the combos. There were a few times when I was trying to plan out the end of the game, and I was just like, man, I need to link these together, and can I pull off getting enough resources that I need to end the game and still play everything I want.
Right.
So that was really cool.
I didn't have a great time at the beginning.
Okay.
I kind of felt like I just didn't see how the game worked initially.
Right.
Whereas I think you did and kind of accelerated your board state, and I was just trying to play catch up. But more towards the end of the game, I was starting to see that there is some important decision-making processes that you have to put into this game. It isn't just playing itself like I had worried about at the beginning.
Right, exactly.
Like there is a lot of decision making to make, especially in that tile placement. I find the cards, you kind of play with what comes up to you, but the tile placement, I felt that's where the game really was, and really where the big decision making, setting yourself up to get the resources that you need, and then the cards are like extra bonuses that you can work towards.
Sure. I think you really need to tailor the tiles that you're taking to the cards that you have. If you have an ability right away in your first starting hand, then you can kind of just build your board to what you need it to be. I found that I had a really easy game because the very first card that I drew in hand was one that let me substitute one resource for the other in a one-way fashion. Just towards building items. I couldn't do the reverse with casting spells, but I could use my willpower to create items. And because of that, I never had to worry about collecting shards ever.
Right.
So I felt like that being the first card that I played, I had a very easy game.
Right.
But yeah, so it might have been a little bit trickier if I didn't have that card.
I felt like all the cards were good.
Yeah.
Like there was no card that I'm like, oh, this is garbage. I don't want to play this. I think they all had value. Some might be a little bit more combo-y and work together than others, but I felt like they were all pretty good. The artwork on everything was pretty...
It was decent.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was a cartoony type feel to it.
Yep.
The iconography was very clear. You have 5 actions that you can take.
Yeah, it was very simple. Yeah. Explaining the game, and after the first round, no one had any questions, I don't think, for the rest of the game. Going back to the cards being kind of balanced and they were all good, I did feel that there was one card that, in our game at least, didn't really have a feature or purpose, and that was you can cast it to force a player to exhaust one of their action slots.
Right.
And we all had abilities that kind of negated exhaustion. So no one was ever having to rest or do anything because they were always able to get rid of or get around their exhausted tokens. So I had 2 of those in my hand at the beginning of the game, and I was just like, I don't really need to use these. I guess you can always cast it. It's a low-cost spell, so you can cast it to end the game really early.
Yeah,
that's always an option. So
especially if you have a lot of those tiles that allow you to cast lots of spells.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could be like, oh, I only have 4 cards. Everyone's planning their next 3-4 turns.
Sure.
And then you're like, boom, 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 boom. You only get 1 more turn.
Exactly. Yeah. So it could be good for end game. It just in our game that we played, it didn't.
Especially if you play that one last and end the game, and then you exhaust the 1 key tile on their board. Yeah. Like if that's the 8th card that you play that ends the game, and you're like, boom, that one's exhausted. You don't get a chance to take that as your last action. Yeah. That could be pretty devastating.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I rescind that comment then.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I didn't have the best experience, but I still can appreciate what's in the game, and I'd actually like to try this one again and try, now that I've seen the game once, try to do a little bit better.
Yeah. For everyone else at the table, it was very tight at the end. The final scores were 23, 24, and 26.
And then I had 17.
Which isn't too far behind. No, it's not like you were just like... it wasn't like me in Islebound.
No.
But yeah, so I had a great time. I'm looking to play this again. I think it's light enough as well that I could play it with my nieces and nephews that are around age 10.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that as well. I think they'll pick it up and really, really have a good time with it.
Cool. Well, that's Arcane Academy.
Yeah.
If that sounds interesting to you, check it out.
Definitely check it out.
Definitely a different change of pace from Eric Lang and Kevin Wilson.
Agreed.
but still a solid, I think, game that you could get a fair bit of replayability out of.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right.
Take a look. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And follow us on Twitter at MeepleLeaf. And if you want to go to Board Game Links and give us some hearts, we would appreciate that as well.
All right. See you guys next time.
Take care.